How do you even begin to tell the story of a passion in a place that God has marked for me, but has also been the space of some of the deepest hurt and heartbreak? I don't honestly know. Music and a passion for worship have always been a huge part of my life. I didn't see it at first, but God sent really people to tell me. And it started with a pastor who first saw my passion and encouraged me to start drumming. From there, had a worship night at that church, and I had gone up for prayer because I was in a pretty dark depression, not knowing what to do. And one of the elders in the church came up to me and prayed for me. And she said that God had told her that you're going to be a mighty man of God and you will be a warrior for him. And that was hard for me to hear, but that prophecy held really words of life that launched me through all of it. From there, kind of went on to learn more about worship and began to lead in multiple church contexts. And my experiences soon became those of ongoing church hurt, sadly. And that left me broken time after time. And it was really the fourth church that silenced my voice. And it was really part of a painful cycle of diving into helping at church. And as soon as I was no longer useful, I would get burned. The last church, their leadership told me that there was no way that God would call me away from that church. And the worship team never talked to me again after the last Sunday, and there's been no contact since. And that absolutely broke me. After that, all I experienced was darkness, and I felt numb, and I wanted nothing to do with worship and with being creative. And honestly, I was mad at God. Why would he call me to something that kept hurting me over and over? But even in the pain, God kept drawing me back to that place. And it took me time to start to listen and to hear his whisper and to let him heal, and honestly to trust him again. But he never stopped drawing me. It took me on a whole journey that never stopped pointing me back towards worship. And even though I would continue to build walls of fear, even in that space, like trying to find my way back, that's all I was met with. And, finding Trinity and being too afraid, so started online. And then we finally came, and I would sit in the back row, and I would come in and I would go out and I would just vanish. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to talk to anyone. And then I felt more of a drawing. And then we found our way to the main floor, still the back row, but the main floor. And there was physical progression. And from there, it was from the back row to the third row. And then a worship night came up. And I had never been able to sing since that day at the last day of the fourth church. And to be able to actually open my mouth and use my voice was really when God just showed me that he's been calling me back to his heart in just this beautiful way. He used, therapy, kind of a foundation rebuild, and my wife has been one of the greatest supporters. And then finding community with my small group, and that's helped me form friendships with people that I can be real with. And after taking time to pray about it and really listen to where God was calling, the music team here at Trinity has welcomed me with open arms. And I finally found my safe space where I can use the gifts that God has given to me to serve him. He's called me back to that place, called me back to leading worship, stepping into it with his strength carrying me, and really just trusting God with all of it. There's still a journey ahead, fully finding my voice. But thankfully, I found my way back to his heart.